Welcome back. If it is joined us watching the news at 10, broadcasting on Channels Television live from Lagos. So here are a few pictures sent into our eyewitness portal. Let's begin with this one of a refuse dump in the middle of a street in Kaduna. Our eyewitness reporter wants the State Ministry of Environment to take action to clear this. Next is this picture from GRA Benin City in Edo State showing double parking by truck drivers. Our reporter says that these trucks are usually laden with petroleum products. He wants concerned authorities to take necessary action to avert an accident in the area. We'll end with this one showing a commercial bus dangerously loaded. Its conductor hanging on the bus. Our reporter says this bus was spotted in Lagos on the Lagos-Abeokuta road. He wants the road safety officials to be more alert to their duties. Thank you for sending in those pictures to know that you too can become an eyewitness reporter for Channels Television. 6 ministerial nominees today appeared before the Senate as part of the ongoing confirmation hearings being conducted by the Senate. The 6 nominees spent about an hour each before the lawmakers as questions were put to them on issues bordering on corruption, education, politics, and the economy. One of the nominees was, however, asked to apologize to the senators for a remark he made on the stand. Our correspondent, Larry Lasisi, tells us more.
The Senate resuming its confirmation hearing for ministerial nominees with 6 nominees billed to appear before the Senate. The first nominee to appear was Professor Adewale Folorunsho. He spent over an hour before the lawmakers and answered questions on health and education.
We are dealing with a situation characterized by lack of morale. We are dealing with a situation characterized by the dilapidated infrastructure. We need to put money in education. We need to recognize education as a vital tool to promote not only economy, but this nation's development. And that is what we have to do. We really need to follow through and make sure that the universities are well funded, the staff are well motivated, and I can assure you, being part of this system, that our universities will deliver.
Eventually, he was told to bow and go. The next nominee that generated such interest was Zainab Ahmed, and she was taken up on her knowledge of the Nigerian oil sector and the issue of leakages in the system.
The NNPC employs crude oil swaps, oil processing arrangements to provide fuel that we need in country. These are very major areas of leakages that I'm glad that the GMD NNPC has started looking at. Another major area is the cost to us as a country of cash calls, how much we pay as a contribution to the joint operating arrangements. The bills are very, very high. As a country, we actually don't have the capacity to ascertain that the cost that we're being invoiced is actually real. That we are continuously owing our operating partners for these joint venture cash calls. And to make it worse, we have special accounts for cash calls.
The other nominees also took their turns and left the chamber. The atmosphere in the chamber, however, changed dramatically when the last nominee was on the stand. It was clear there was trouble as the minority leader rose, demanding an apology from the nominee.
So for the nominee to stand in front of us and mention names of senators who traversed the political terrain in Cross River together. And somebody jokingly said, we're under the PDP. He said, God forbid. We take exception to that. For somebody who has served under a PDP administration, benefited from it, I don't think it should insult the PDP by coming to stand in front of us to say, God forbid. God cannot forbid 16 years of leadership in this country, whether there were mistakes or not. God cannot forbid. Mr. Chairman, I'm addressing you because I know that even you as the chairman, you benefited from the PDP as governor of Kwara State for 8 years. And I also benefited from PDP as governor of Akwa Ibom State for 8 years.
Is noted, nominee.
Profoundly sorry. Thank you.
This did not help as PDP senators kept interrupting his remarks with points of orders that the Senate President ruled out of order. The nominee eventually completed his turn and was allowed to leave. The Senate is to continue with the confirmation hearing on Wednesday when the remaining 5 nominees are expected to appear. Lanre Lasese, Channels Television News.
Away from the lawmakers, those who expect to get comprehensive information on the Abacha loot may have to forget it for now, as the World Bank says it needs additional time to provide comprehensive information on the spending of recovered funds looted by the late head of state, Sani Abacha. The World Bank told the human rights group seeking information on the loot, which is about $7 billion, that for now it is compiling information on the spendings. According to the World Bank, in response to your request, we would like to inform you that we're still considering your request and we will need additional time because the money involved is too huge for us to handle. End of quote. The World Bank says although it takes just 20 working days to respond to such requests, under special circumstances it could take much longer. The loot stolen by the former military ruler from 1993 to 1998 is estimated to be around $11.3 billion. The Nigerian Air Force says its Alpha jets have successfully destroyed Boko Haram's vehicle workshops, fuel and ammunition dumps located in Sambisa Forest. According to the Director, Air Force Public Relations and Information, Commodore Dele Alonge, the efforts followed painstaking intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance by the unmanned aerial vehicle and the ATR-42 platforms of the Nigerian Air Force. He added that the airstrikes will pave way for the final onslaught by the land forces to meet President Muhammadu Buhari's directives to bring insurgency in the northeast to an end by December. Speaking of which, President Muhammadu Buhari has arrived in India, where he is expected to participate in the third summit of the India-Africa Forum, scheduled to hold in the city of New Delhi. President Muhammadu Buhari will hold bilateral talks with the Indian Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, and other senior Indian government officials tomorrow, ahead of the opening of the summit on Thursday. After the bilateral talks with the Indian Prime Minister, the President is scheduled to also meet with business executives of Indian companies who have existing or prospective interests in Nigeria. Issues expected to be discussed at the summit include climate change and international terrorism, measures aimed at boosting joint collaboration to accelerate the pace of socio-economic development in Africa and in India, as well as efforts towards alleviation of poverty, disease and illiteracy. President Buhari is scheduled to return to Abuja on Friday.
Come this way. Thank you very much. This way.
Let's turn to health issues now. The removal of Nigeria from the list of polio endemic countries did not come on a platter of gold. Efforts by the various levels of government, stakeholders, and not forgetting that 10 polio vaccinators who lost their lives in February 2013 while delivering the life-saving vaccine paved the way for this polio status. Our correspondent, Yomi Otaibe, reports.
Nigeria's journey to being delisted from the list of polio endemic countries by the World Health Organization has been rough. Prior to 1997, when the National Program on Immunization was introduced to bring vaccines closer to the Nigerian child, surveillance for polio cases was almost non-existent. However, a major setback was recorded between 2003 and 2004, when the controversies over the safety of the oral polio vaccine led to a boycott of the vaccine in northern Nigeria. Its ripple effect showed in the 2006 figures, with 1,122 wild polio cases recorded.
This vaccine has been used in almost all over the world, more than 10 billion doses. The empirical evidence to say that it is not safe is not there.
With aggressive awareness and advocacy, the polio immunization campaign, especially in northern Nigeria, got back on track. From 2007, polio cases have gone up and down. A boost to Nigeria's polio eradication drive came in 2012 when former President Goodluck Jonathan launched a presidential task force on polio eradication. Now, Nigeria has been without no case of the wild polio virus for 15 months. The last case was recorded on July 24, 2014 in Sumaila local government area in Kano State.
Well, one of the things that we have done primarily to lead to the things we have achieved is having a war room which is the Emergency Center for Polio Eradication, call it EOC. And this is where Rotary and its partners, UNICEF, WHO, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, of course, the National Primary Health Development Agency that chairs this committee, sits on a regular basis, at least twice a week, to map out strategies based on information from the field.
Poliomyelitis is a highly infectious viral disease which mainly affects young children. The virus is transmitted by person to person, spread mainly through the fecal-oral route, and multiplies in the intestine, from where it can invade the nervous system and can cause paralysis. This is the first time that Nigeria has interrupted the transmission of the wild polio virus, bringing the country and indeed the African region closer to being certified polio-free. It's good news, but one that needs to be celebrated with cautious optimism, because the road to Nigeria's polio eradication in 2017 is still long. Yomi Otaigbe, reporting for Channels Television News.
When the News at 10 returns, more on Nigeria's journey towards eradicating polio. We'll be joined on the News at 10 by the Executive Director, National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Mohammed Ado. Please stay with us.